Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Little Hen says it's time to rock and roll.
All you people are so scared of me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Man, that's just me.
I'm Batman.
This is Sparta!
There is a tiger in the bathroom!
I'm an excellent driver.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us on this Monday evening, listening to us on Spreaker for the Monday Movie Show, DVD and Blu-ray part of the show, coming up in which we have reviews of these films.
We have Alice returning in Resident Evil Retribution. Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes up against his future self, played by Bruce Willis in Looper. We have Jennifer Lawrence in House at the End of the Street, an animated horror film of sorts with Paranorman. We've got The Double, and we have The Fifth Quill. I'm calling it a fifth quill. The fifth in a series with Wrong Turn 5, and I'll quickly mention VHS. And Andy has his TV movie of the week, which I can't remember what he said it was.
I'm still deciding between two, so I'll have to say when I come to it.
Yeah, he might be greedy and say two as per usual.
I can't help it. There's so many films on during a week, and trying to pick one, it's like trying to pick it's like someone comes to you and says, "What's your favourite film ever made?"
Stand By Me. Simple.
Oh, no, it's not that simple.
Yeah, it is for me anyway. Right.
Before that, though, we've got the DVD and Blu-ray top 10, which we'll go straight into now.
Yeah, at number 10, New Entry for Merlin Series 5.
Yeah, we don't really cover the series here, but I'm going to just mention that Merlin is a series that I did watch and follow and enjoy, except for the ending, which kind of annoyed me.
Okay, I have nothing to say because I've never watched a single episode of it.
No, I liked it. I wish it had gone on a bit longer, and I wish they hadn't ended it the way they did, because it feels like the ending of it feels like a setup for something else, but I don't think it is. It's just annoying.
Yeah, at number 9, The Dark Knight Rises.
Which we don't really have anything more to say. If you haven't heard about it, then go back and listen to the show for the last 8 weeks, because you will have heard something then.
Yeah, just before we go on to number 8, when you said it's really difficult for people to say their favourite film of all time, Booger's come back with Leon, and Mena said The Monster Squad.
The Monster Squad? Really?
Interesting. I would have never thought that his favourite film of all time would have been The Monster Squad.
Leon I can understand, but Monster Squad?
I've never heard anybody say The Monster Squad is their favourite film of all time.
I'm going to ask Boog, actually, if he's saying Leon, do you mean the theatrical cut of Leon, or do you mean the extended director's cut, which is a very different film?
He has to be very specific.
Yeah, I just want to know, because they're very different films. One involves a subject which is a bit touchy.
Right, at number 8, The Hunger Games.
Jennifer Lawrence in the movie that has been a sort of a big breakout thing, and it's a decent film. It's a good, enjoyable sort of action thriller, really. I don't know, but it's a very good film. I'm looking forward to seeing the other three when they're made. Yeah,
Burger's come back and says the Japanese edit.
That's probably the extended version in the director's cut, which is a very, very good film.
And then Menace has replied back with these Monster Squad one is saying it's honestly John Q. I knew that, but Monster Squad, that threw me for 6.
John Q. The Denzel Washington one, John Q.
Yeah.
I'm floored more by that than I am by Monster Squad. I honestly am. Unless there is something going on there which is personal issues with him related to the subject of the film, I honestly cannot understand why.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's Bouncy from the Holocaust saying that he can't fault Jaws. Who can't?
Yeah,
movies.
But whether or not you would definitely say, if someone said your most absolute favourite film ever, pick one, that you'd be able to pick just one. Anyone who I think suggests just one, I think that's very unbelievable.
Stand By Me, but you've always known it. Stand By Me, though. Let's get on to the top 10, because if we keep on yabbering on like this, we'll never get to any reviews. At number 7, Taken.
Which is a really good film. Taken 2, which comes out next week, isn't. Go and buy Taken again, get it higher up in the chart so that maybe it gets ahead of Taken 2 next week.
Maybe. So at number 6, 21 Jump Street.
Which is a perfectly fine comedy. It's one of the ones that genuinely did make both of us laugh. I didn't feel that all the jokes quite worked in it as they were intended. Some of them fell a bit flat. But the overall, the film is enjoyable. It is not boring at any point. It's good from start to finish, and Channing Tatum is the standout comedy performance of the whole film, which is surprising.
Can I mention he looks like a specific vegetable because I haven't said it for a while?
No.
Please.
No, you're banned.
Just once.
No.
Too late, he looks like a potato. At number 5...
Mm.
No, he doesn't look like a turnip. At number 5, and you went for Monster High Fright Night Frights / Why?
Exactly, why? I don't know. It's a kids' cartoon thing. They've made a TV movie thing out of it. I mean, that's it. Not really going to say anymore. I haven't seen it, and I never will.
Yeah, I like this idea from Booger saying we should do a top 10 where we get people's listeners' top 10. A show where we get listeners' top 10s.
Well, all that means to people is that you've got to try and find the top. You can find the top 10. In fact, if we start posting the top 10 every week on the website, that'll give people a chance to have a look at it ahead of time, won't it?
Yeah, he's saying their top 10 films.
Oh,
their top 10. They're specifically top 10 films of all time.
I thought it meant them commenting on the top 10. Okay, nice.
Yeah, it might be an interesting idea. Maybe it's a top 5 so we can get run down them through quickly. But you never know. In the future, maybe. At number 4, Lawless.
Which I thought was really disappointing. I thought it looks very good, but the direction in it's not brilliant. The performances in it are very strained. And I mean, in a film where Shia LaBeouf is amongst the best acting performances in the film, do you need to say anything more than that? I mean, the female characters in it, as much as Jessica Chastain in it is a great actress, she's given nothing to do in the film. That's the problem.
Yeah, at least you can hear Tom Hardy in this, but only barely over being. But
Tom Hardy sounds like he's trying to audition for Batman.
Yeah, when he played Bane, he had a mask on, etc. In this, I don't know. And Bouncy's come back and said he watched the 2 Monster High movies. Not dreadful, actually.
Oh God!
At number 3, and you went for The Possession.
The Possession, which I found to be perfectly fine, just fine, not bad, not brilliant, but I thought it was okay. It's a story based on an eBay item, which is the thing that's amazing that it turned out to be so decent. It's got decent performances in it, a good effort made to not show the creature ahead of time, which is what keeps it being at least suspenseful.
Yeah, Bouncy, I think you actually just sit down and watch all these animated films on your own. At number 2, Dread.
I'm guessing that was in response to the chat.
Yeah, the Monster High thing, sorry. Yeah.
Dread, I think, agreeably, between the two of us, our favourite comic book film of the year last year.
Yep.
I still haven't had a chance to watch the Blu-ray yet. I want to see what it's like, to see what the transfer's like, because I hear that the transfer is really good, and the 3D is supposed to be really good on it too. So I'm looking forward to catching this at some point when I do get a chance. But other than that, we've seen it, we loved it. Great performances from Carl Urban and I've forgotten her name now. You forgot her last week as well. Olivia Thirlby. Yeah.
Yep.
They're brilliant in it, and I mean, for anyone who's in doubt, Dredd does not lift off his helmet in the entire film, so that should sell you on it.
Yeah, I rewatched it today, and it does look gorgeous. It's a very crisp movie in 2D. It really does stand out. The slow-mo scenes, even though I have a problem with slow motion, the slow-mo scenes
works
are
in this film.
I don't think I had a problem that much with the slow motion when I watched it in 2D, more so than 3D. And in 2D, it's so crisp and beautiful to look at. You feel that you've taken slow-mo yourself.
The colour, the thing I remember about the slow-mo sequences is that the colour has also been dubbed up as well, which works really well in the scenes.
Yeah, so I really did like... No, Menace, it's not bullet time. It's slow-mo.
And bullet time is a completely different thing.
I really liked it when I went to see it in the cinema, and I saw it in 3D, and I really liked it. But I think when I watched it on 2D in 2D today, I liked it that bit more, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good film. And
so, Stuart, what's at number 1?
The Sweeney.
The Sweeney?
Yep, the
Sweeney. No, not going to do it anymore. I really liked this. I know that you sort of felt it was a bit average, but I really liked it. I thought it was a good attempt by a British film to equal the American action films, because there is decent action in it. There's nice car chases in it. There's a good shootout through the centre of London, which, if you know London, it really is central London. It goes right through Trafalgar Square. It's a great British action film, which means that it's an okay average action film amongst most other things. But I enjoyed it. A little bit on the long side, because it is about 2.5 hours long. But I thought it was fine. Ray Winstone is brilliant in it. And it's if you need to see it for any reason, see it for Ray Winstone's performance.
Yeah, it's a very sort of like American action film. There's,
I thought that it did what it was trying to do, which I felt it was trying to show that not only America could do those big kind of blockbustery type action films, and it's not an expensive film. It wasn't made for a massive budget.
The thing is, though, I do another show called From Page to Screen with the host Stuart Bannerman, and he does a British show, and he told me that the original budget for the Sweeney was around about 10 million, but it got reduced down to 2 million. Yeah,
which is astounding considering what you see on screen, how it looks and how it comes together. Which is one of the things why I'd say go and see it. Especially, it deserves to be seen because of the fact of the films that are made for 50 times that. No, not 50 times. I'm trying to think the right way.
10 times that.
Well, more than that. You get films that are made for $50 million, and they're not as good as that.
Taken 2, for example. US Danny Dyer fan says that it's coming out in the US in March. I'm not sure if it's theatre. You'll probably get a small release in theatres.
Yeah, I can see it getting a small release over there. And if you get a chance, see it in the theatre because it is a good big screen, decent sound. It deserves it. Let's move on anyway. Let's play an ad now for the Holocaust before getting on to our first review.
We are the Holocaust.
Hello, Internet. Dalek Sex here. You may know me from the photograph that your mother keeps on her bedside table and occasionally smiles at wistfully. If you missed the last episode of We Are the Holocaust, Wrangling the Abbey Part 1, you missed gender reassignment.
Frankly, that sounds overtly perverse.
On a massive scale.
This is my new ladle.
I am a saucy madam.
My love of frilly knickers and saucy little black dresses is saved.
As a result, my position as the voice of sex is now under threat. If you've got any ideas on how to solve this...
You could always rebrand yourself as the voice of S-sex.
Better than that one anyway. Then come and listen to We Are the Holocaust. Friday night, 11 o'clock, iTunes and live on Spreaker.com. Follow us at We Are, that's with the letter R by the way, the Holocaust.
So that's the Holocaust on Friday nights now at 11 o'clock, following the games cast at 9. They're both friend sites of ours, casts of ours, so check them out on Friday. So let's go on to our first DVD and Blu-ray review of the evening, which is me with Resident Evil Retribution. It's the latest in the Resident Evil series, the 5th in which there is going to be a 6th. So it doesn't end up completely resolving everything as you might expect.
The ending's in the trailer.
This starts off with a really nice sequence I find at the opening, which does sort of link into the last movie, Resident Evil Afterlife.
Yep.
It does end up linking into that, but doesn't really answer the what happened the next question, which is what I was really looking for. Because then Alice finds herself, she wakes up, finds herself in a unknown situation, doesn't know where she is, what's going on, and finds herself sort of trapped inside this sort of a big massive structure where it seems there are sites in amongst the place that are all set up to look like previous things that we've seen before in the Resident Evil films. Here's a clip.
So why do you want to help me?
We need you. The human race faces extinction. Our only hope of survival is for us to work together.
I'm not going anywhere until I know where we are and what the hell is going on here.
You're in the Prime Umbrella testing facility.
Explain Tokyo.
What you saw was just a detailed recreation. Nothing more. It goes on for a few city blocks. That's all.
I was outside.
Were you? Saw the sky, did you?
It was night.
Stars? The moon?
The testing floor is 300 feet high. The ceiling black. It's usually night in there. But isn't that when the monsters come out anyway?
It was raining.
Climate control. Wind. Rain. They can even make it snow if they want to.
Why build such a place?
Simple. The Umbrella Corporation derived its primary income from the sale of viral weaponry. Something that's impossible to test in the real world.
So then Alice finds herself that she's in a situation where she needs to try and escape from this facility that she finds herself in to try and get back to the world. Then I don't know really. The thing with it is it's another case of, as has happened so many times in this series, the reset button being pressed, which really annoyed me. I wanted to see things carry on from Afterlife because I enjoyed Afterlife. I like Afterlife. I have the 3D version of it and I really enjoyed that too. With Retribution, not so much really. The 3D in it I can remember not being particularly brilliant because I saw it in 3D at cinema. The problem I have with it is that once the reset button's been pressed, it's kind of like it's, oh, look, we've pressed the reset button so we can have it in a big new facility and we can just redo sequences that we've seen before and have it look all the same, kind of like a callback to the previous films. And we can bring back characters that we've killed off and have them back again because they've been cloned. And we can have, Michelle Rodriguez be in it again. We can have Sienna Gelroy return. We can have Odette Fair return. We can have Colin Salmon back in the film and try to kill him again in new and inventive, yet somehow repetitive ways. And it's just lazy, boring. It's kind of like it's as if it was made to be watched by zombies, not to actually watch killing of zombies. It's the whole thing is that because there's no real plot to it. It's just one action scene, extremely high stylized Michael Bay style slow motion action scene after another, and it's just nothing really happened. They've managed to start. There is a whole new genre of action films which are actually beginning to make action boring, and this is one of those ones that does that. It's just unfortunate because it kind of looked like the series was starting to get better with the last one, and then especially the ending of this one. Oh, I'm not going to give anything away, but just
it's in the trailer.
Well, not even that, but it's just annoying. And I literally got to the end, and I was like, "What? So why have I watched this film? I can just go straight from watching Resident Evil 4 to watching Resident Evil 6 when that comes out, and I will have lost nothing. There's really why? Just no, I know.
Yeah. At the start of the film, you've got a previously on Resident Evil.
Yeah, I like that. See, the thing is, I like that.
No, I don't get that though.
No,
why do you need? You don't need to remind your audience, your target audience, because this is the 5th in the series of a film series. You don't need to remind your target audience what happened in the previous 4 films. You don't need to do that.
There you go, people. A little bit of a Stuart rant on a film that he's not even reviewing.
Yeah, the whole point of the film itself, like I said, it is for the target audience. The people who go to see the 5th one have seen 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you don't need a previously on Resident Evil. I really like the slow motion, sort of like backwards shots of the film.
Yeah, the opening shot, I absolutely loved that. I thought, oh, this might be interesting. We might be onto something here. And then after that, I fell asleep because that's what the film was like.
I thought that was quite inventive. Li Bingbing, who plays Ada Wong, I think she's decently cast. I think she was actually okay as Ada Wong. Why they decided to put...
Oh, yeah, she was, sorry.
Why they decided to put Barry Burton in the movie, I don't get, considering that he's in the first game and he dies in the first game. So I don't know why he had taken up to the 5th film to put his character in the film itself.
You know why? You know why? Because Paul Anderson... Paul Anderson. It's W.S. Anderson. Yeah, not to confuse with Paul Thomas Anderson, who is a brilliant filmmaker. Well, the master aside, but that's digressing. Paul W.S. Anderson is running out of ideas and how to stretch the story any further, and so he's thinking, "Oh, let's bring in a new character we haven't seen yet," and it's not working for him really.
Yeah, I think all that's left is Sherry Birkin.
I don't know. I don't know the games. That's why I probably enjoyed the film so far up to this point, but now I'm getting bored of them.
You've got like Sherry Birkin-esque characters in the film, but I think it's Sherry Birkin who's the only other one that hasn't popped up, who's like a main character in the Resident Evil series. So,
make some bets on whether or not she appear in the next one then. The next and final one.
I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I've played all the games. I've seen all the films, even including the animated films, and even I found it a bit boring, to be honest.
Even there you go, people. No need to see it. Just wait. As I said, if you've seen up to 1 to 4, wait and see 6. That'll probably be better. Okay, let's go on to the next review.
Yep, it's for Looper. It's directed by Ryan Johnson. The film itself is, well, it's set in 2 different time periods. It's set in 2074 and 2044. In the 2044 part of the film, it follows Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who plays Joe, who's a looper. And in the future, you've got his character played by Bruce Willis. And what a looper is time travel has been created in 2074, and it's been outlawed immediately, practically. And what they use time travel for only is for like gangsters to send bodies back to the past, or people who've done a crime back to the past, so they can be killed and so they can be wiped out. And so Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, he plays the character in 2044, where he is a looper who kills these people who get sent to them, and he's got a cushy life. They kill the person who they're told to kill. They have gold bars strapped to their back, and they live a cushy life. They seem to be up in the high echelons of society because they've got a really good job. However, his self gets sent to 2044, and he doesn't know who it is because people get sent to the past with bags on their head. He's just about to shoot them, but the bag comes off and he discovers that it is himself. His self, played by Bruce Willis, he ends up escaping and he has to hunt himself down. However, the society that he works for, because he has to close off his sort of like a loop, his society that he works for decides to go after him as well. And they end off in the latter half of the film, when they're tracking each other down, they end off on a farm with a character played by Emily Blunt. Here's a clip.
Get off my farm.
You couldn't scare a retarded hobo with that thing, literally.
This is a Remington 871.
Yeah, that's telling. You're holding a gun. I say I'm not afraid, so you describe the gun to me. It's not the gun I'm not afraid of. What are you gonna do? Shoot in the air? Try to scare me? Go ahead. You wouldn't let me die. You're not gonna kill me.
Well, so now I saved your life. That makes me weak?
Look, I'm not a threat to you or your boy. I need to be on your property. I'd rather there's no contact at all. I'm gonna stay in the fields. There's just one thing I need you to do, and you'll never have to deal with me again. Just verify for me this is your house on the map, so I know I'm in the right place.
What's this?
The map.
Yeah, that's my house. Why is it marked?
Okay, doesn't matter. Look, I'm gonna be out of the barn in an hour.
This number, how'd you get this?
That mean something to you? What? Hey.
Now, you also discover that the older Joe, he has come into the past. He wants to hunt down a character called the Rainmaker, because the Rainmaker is the person who supposedly created the time travel thing, and he wants to try and kill him. And you discover something else about the film. And Looper is one of those rare science fiction action films that's an intelligent science fiction action film that was released during the blockbuster season, and it did pretty well. And the previous one that you've got things like Inception, which is a very intelligent film, and it demands you to think about the movie itself, and Looper works because of that. It's a very intelligent film where you need to concentrate. It's not one of those movies where you think that I'm going to easily surf through this. If I miss a little bit of it, it's fine. I'm going to catch up. You're not. If you don't pay attention to the movie, you will lose track of what happens in the film. It's brilliantly acted by both Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis. They're both fantastic in the film. Emily Blunt is brilliant as well, and Boogoo's in the live chat. I'm surprised I haven't seen a message from him going, Emily Blunt, or something of that ilk.
He just
Emily
said,
Blunt.
I like Looper, that's it. He's being rather coy tonight, I think.
Yeah, I'll probably get it when I go on, when I speak to him a little bit later on. But yeah, Emily Blunt is fantastic in the film, and the first half of the film, it plays out like an intelligent science fiction film, and then the second half of the film plays more like an intelligent drama. And they both work together. They both work really well together. I really liked Looper. It's a very, very good film.
I have to agree with that. I mean, Looper is one of my favourite films of last year. It's been a recurring theme of every year we've had a big science fiction film which has been intelligent since Inception. We had Inception that year, then we had Source Code the year after that, and then we've had Looper last year. So there seems to be you're getting a one decent science fiction with an intelligent, smart film, which is what this is. I really enjoyed it as well, and I thought the acting from everyone was great. You even got in there Jeff Daniels as well, who's great in the small part he's got too. So if you're a fan of any of those actors, or if you like a good science fiction film, definitely have a look at it, because I think you'll not be disappointed. Just pay attention. It's one of those films you've got to pay attention when you're watching it. Yep. Okay, I'm going to go on to House at the End of the Street, which is the movie directed by Mark Tondari.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Yeah, Mark Tonderai. I don't know. Sunrise in the morning. I'm in a singing mood for some reason. I don't know, but no, it's a movie which stars Jennifer Lawrence as Alyssa, who has moved into a new house with her mother, played by Elizabeth Shue. The two of them have a sort of a cagey relationship where things haven't been particularly brilliant with them in the past, with her mother not being the best mother in the world. They've moved into this new house, which they've only been able to manage to afford because of the fact that the rent is so low, because the house next door to it is the house where a horrific murder happened years before, with the parents of a young girl were killed, supposedly by her, and her brother then came back to the house, and he's now living in the house all on his own, and he's kind of like being made this sort of a social pariah of the town. Nobody in the town is interested in him at all. They've all tried to buy the house up so they can have it knocked down. And the whole thing is that Alyssa then sort of strikes up a relationship with the boy that lives there. I forget his name now.
Pass.
Ryan, I think his name.
I think it is Ryan. Yeah.
She sort of strikes up a friendship with him, which is sort of almost sort of becomes a sort of a romantic relationship sort of thing. And she starts to sort of delve into learning about him and finding out about him and what happened, unaware that there is a sort of a mystery involving the house. Now, I'm not going to go into that any further because there are sort of twists and turns in this story. The problem is, though, really it's not worth checking out this film. It's a low budget film, and it looks it feels it. I can't remember how much it's made for, but it's not a lot. It's mostly handheld camera work in it, which unfortunately it's not like shaky cam, so it's not really bad shaky cam, but the camera just cannot sit still. The camera cannot hold still. There'll be moments when you're watching it, and there was moments seriously when I'm sitting there. There's two people talking. There's not anything going on visually, but I'm distracted by the camera. Sort of, it's almost like the camera's being carried by something and weightless, and it's floaty and sort of wobbling around a bit. And I really had a problem with it. It's not the best written of, and it's not horror. It's thriller. It's not a horror film. People have sort of described this as a horror film. It's a thriller. There's not a horrific thing about it. There are a couple of moments which go for kind of cheap shock jumps, or try to. But even for me, someone who doesn't like horror, I didn't mind this as it's not a horror, but it's a thriller. And it's a weak thriller. Unfortunately, I mean, it runs for an hour and 40 minutes, and it's about 40 minutes too long. It's boring. There's whole segments where nothing happens, and you're kind of sitting there waiting, go, okay, something happened now. This is setting up for something, and you're like, okay, something's going to happen. Okay, something's going to happen. Okay, come on, do something. And you kind of get to the point where it's like you get a thriller where you have a film, something will be happening. You go, no, don't go there, do this. No, don't. You end up screaming at the character. Instead, I found myself screaming at the screen, going, do something. Don't just make me sit here getting bored. And that's what it's like. It really is.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence she's really weak in this. She's very arrogant. Her character is very arrogant in the film itself. Elizabeth Shue, who plays her mother, she's really annoying. The whole film itself is just boring from start to finish. It doesn't have a chilling bone in its body. And
the twist, not a twist.
You can see it a mile coming. If you don't see it coming, then stop watching films.
Yeah, if you've seen, I mean, even as someone who's not watched a lot of these kind of films like that, I've watched my fair amount. You've watched more of them than I have, and I still saw these twists coming, and I was like, come on, really? You're going to do that? You're going to go there? You're going to do that? No.
Yeah, even though this film itself, When a Stranger Calls, isn't very good, just watch When a Stranger Calls, and US Danny Dyer fan, it's not a remake.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a remake or not, but it's not that it's bad, it's just it's uninteresting, which is a bad thing for a film.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you want to move on to what you're doing next?
Paranorman. I have to quickly get through because we've only got 15 minutes left, and we have 3/4 films to do on TV Movie of the Week. So it's written and directed by Chris Butler and Sam Fell. The premise of the film is quite simple. It's a sort of like stop-motion, claymation, animated kids horror film kind of thing. It's a weird amalgamation of loads of different genres, and it centres around the main character, Norman, voiced by Cody Smith McPhee, who was in Let Me In, the remake of Let the Right One In. And it centres around him. It's in a small little town called Blythe Hollow, and he's a character who sees dead people. He sees ghosts. People don't believe that he can see ghosts. He has no friends at all until he gets to school, and he ends off making friends with this fat kid called Alvin, who seems to be... He's a really, really strange kid. He's lost his dog, and the clip that I'm playing, is Norman can see his dog, and Alvin wants to see his dog again. So here's the clip.
He's around here somewhere. So does everyone come back as a ghost?
No. My grandma told me it's usually people who still have stuff to figure out, or sometimes it's the ones who died suddenly or in a bad way. Bub?
Is he there? How's he look?
Good. He's happy to see you.
Who's a good boy, huh? Good boy. Can he feel if I pet him?
Yeah, I guess.
Bubby wubby boo.
That's not his chin.
So you also discover that a curse has been placed on somebody and turned into a witch, and she wants to get her own back on the town itself, and she resurrects zombies. If you've seen the trailer, you'll have seen the zombies, and they have to stop her. It's simple as that. The film itself is really nicely animated, and it was a glut of films that were released the middle to end of last year, where it was sort of like horror kids animated films. And so you had Hotel Transylvania, which we're reviewing next week, and you had Frankenweenie, which we're reviewing in a couple of weeks' time. And this one, I've only seen two of them. I've only seen Hotel Transylvania and this one. This one's the better out of the two. I can't comment on Frankenweenie just yet, but this is the best out of the two itself. It's an enjoyable kids film. There's enough in there for young kids. It's not a younger kids film. It's not like a kid below the age of 8. Depend on what you show your kids anyway. But it's not for them. But it's a really entertaining film. It's really nicely animated. The zombies are fantastically done. They have little quirks and quips to them, and I really enjoyed it. It's a smart little kids animated horror film.
I have to agree on that. I'm a fan of that. I think it's the best animated film of last year. So if you are interested in animated films, check it out. You'll love it, especially if you like zombie films too. The Double, which is directed by Michael Brandt, is a movie that's gone straight to video here. It did get I think it got a cinematic release in the US. Maybe US Danny Dyer fan can confirm that for us. But it was to get a cinema release here, but didn't. There are obvious reasons for this. It's a thriller which centres around Richard Gere playing a retired CIA operative who was essentially a spy hunter during the Cold War. He's then brought back in because there have been a series of some murders which seem to have the same sort of pattern as a well-known spy, a Russian spy. It seems as if maybe this Russian spy who supposedly is dead is not actually dead, and the best person who ever knew anything about him was Richard Gere's character. He's brought in by this younger, new, more recent character played by Topher Grace, who is the more recent agent and sort of inexperienced and looking to try and get help from him to try and find this. I think it's called Cassius, was the name of it, Cassian, something like that. But the thing is, here's the problem with The Double. I saw the trailer for this a while ago, and I don't know if anyone will remember, we posted on our website a trailer warning to not watch the trailer for this film because it gives away the entire plot of the film. So if you like a good sort of thriller with that kind of Cold War edge to it, have a look at it. I'm not going to discuss it any further than that because of the fact that it's a really weak story and it's a waste of talent. But if you're into these sort of movies that are low budget kind of TV movie, you may find something in it. Otherwise, especially, don't watch the trailer. Just watch the film because it's just spoiled, unfortunately.
Yeah, it did get a theatrical release in the US in 2011. It was a very limited release it got.
Yeah, and for obvious reasons, really. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, quickly, I reviewed a film last week, VHS. It was out in the cinemas. It was only released in something like, I think, less than 10 screens, and it only took £2,000 at the box office. I don't see the point of them wasting their money and trying to release it in the cinema, so it was a bit pointless. So VHS is out on DVD and Blu-ray now. If you didn't see it at the cinema, if you couldn't catch it, please watch VHS and get ready for the sequel, SVHS, which is still not picked up a distributor, but it's supposed to be absolutely insane. It's been just shown at Sundance. So VHS is a really good anthology portmanteau horror film. However...
Are we going to get one called DVD eventually, then?
I don't know, but... However, Wrong Turn 5... It's directed by Declan O'Brien, and now the first Wrong Turn film went to cinema, and it was a really good film. And then the sequel was released straight to DVD. It wasn't too bad. There was problems with it, but it wasn't too bad. The third one was awful. The fourth one was a prequel to the first one, which I didn't see why they wasted their money on making a prequel. And you think to yourself, can it get any worse? Oh, bloody yes, it can. This centres around, it's a typical kind of thing, it centres around a group of people who go to this small town for this festival, and you've got the hillbilly cannibals from the previous films. One of them played by Doug Bradley. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He just pops up in these films now. It's not an and role as well, he's a main character in the film. The thing with Wrong Turn 5, now, I watched this a little while ago, because I was interested in the Wrong Turn films, and I really liked the Wrong Turn films, apart from number 4, and maybe it's number 3 as well. Wrong Turn 5 is god-awful. It's really bad. If you think that you've seen films with small budgets, this one, it looks like they had to break into some kid's little piggy bank to try and get enough of a budget together to shoot this film. It's really badly shot. The deaths in it are horrible. There is no inventive death in this film whatsoever. The gore is really bad. The acting is just honestly, it's up there on another level of really bad acting. I've seen horrible acting in trauma movies, and this outdoes that in the acting stakes. I don't see a redeeming feature whatsoever with Wrong Turn 5. And any bets, there will be a 6th one. This was shot in about 2 months. I don't know why it took 2 months to shoot something like this, because I could have shot something on my shitty little phone in the space of like 30 minutes, and it would have been better. I know I said the S word, but it's not too bad. It's a PG-13 kind of word. But,
I can think of plenty of more words that have come up with a PG-13 kind of way.
Yeah, I could have shot something that was much better than this. This film is just horrible. It's awful. It's terrible. Avoid it. Avoid it like the plague. I'd actually rather have the plague than this. So just avoid it.
Would you believe it or not, I actually did see the first Wrong Turn, and I didn't think it was that bad. I kind of liked it. I think it had one of the most inventive deaths by axe that I've ever seen on film.
Yeah, well, if you look at the other Wrong Turn films, there is a couple of inventive deaths, even in the last one, which was horrible anyway. But this one, it just goes for the standard kills, and honestly, it's pathetic.
Okay, I'm going to quickly go on because we know we're running low on time. The TV movies of the week, well, movies. I'm going to do it again. I don't care, but the main one I'm going to go on. And sorry to US Danny Dyer fan and anyone else listening in the US, it is only for UK TV stations. On Sunday, I don't have the date written down, which is annoying. Oh yes, I do. Sunday the 3rd of February, at 11. No, I've lost the time. I think it's 9 o'clock. Sorry, I've lost the time. I think it's 9 o'clock. Check the guides. Sunday the 3rd, there is Assault on Precinct 13 being shown on Film 4, which is a film that I think a lot of people should check out because it was a release in 2005 that really kind of just didn't take off at the cinema, and it should have, because it's pretty good. It's a remake of John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 from the 70s, but it completely updates things to present day and changes things around in it as well. So it's a remake that actually does make a point of being different than the original. The other one I'm going to quickly mention is Street Kings, which is on Friday night, the 1st of February, 11:05 on Film 4. And that's worth seeing because it's written and directed by David Ayer, who wrote Training Day. So it's a similar kind of police sort of good thriller. It has Keanu Reeves in the lead, which some people I understand will have an issue with, but I think he's perfectly fine in the film. And it has Forrest Whitaker in there as well. So that is it for this week's show. Thank you for listening into us live if you have been, or if you've been listening on other ways like iTunes or through the Spreaker website later on. Thank you for joining us. Movie of the week. I think for me it's Zero Dark 30, although I still haven't seen Lincoln yet.
It's difficult. I would slightly err more towards Zero Dark 30 than Lincoln, but both are brilliant films anyway.
So it's essentially Zero Dark 30, and we're going with, I think. Then.
Yeah, I'm making a double bill, Zero Dark 30 and Lincoln. It's really difficult to choose between those two.
So you will need about 7 hours to watch them both. With the
or if you're a sadomasochist, go and see movie 43, then come home and watch Wrong Turn 5.
Oh God, no! Don't go and see movie 43. Honestly, please don't.
That's why I said if you're a sadomasochist.
No, but I just don't want it to make any more money. I really don't, because it's made more than enough already.
No, it only took $5 million at the US box office. It bombed.
Yeah, but it's still probably more than it cost to make, which means they're still going to try and make more like it. A few shout outs to a few sites, friend sites of ours. You've got, as you heard in the adverts, you've got the Following the Nerd. We've got to mention them as well. But you heard the Holocaust, which is theholocaust.com or .co.uk. I'm going to have to check all these again. You've got the Gamescast, which is thegamescast.com. I know that one for sure. Our friend Mark with Following the Nerd, which Stuart will be appearing on his show on Thursday night, 9 o'clock, to do the UK Top 10. Yep. And also there is From Page to Screen, which I did check the website of this earlier as well. It is no www, just from page number 2 screen.com. So I did at least check that one out. I just need to go back and check all the others now.
I should have made sure that I checked it out because I'm on the show and I didn't.
Yeah. We'll be back again next Monday at 7:30 with, again, the pick of the latest movies released in the UK. Until then, hope you've enjoyed listening to the show as much as we have, and I have, because I'm really de-stressed now after reviewing movie 43, although I need to go and get stressed up again so I can write about it, because it really does anger me. I'm going to turn green in a minute and Hulk out.
I'm going to press play on the outro. Bye.